the end is near. I just wanted to make this video because I had the deepest thoughts in my shower about the implications of this. I'm gonna go in there and read some of my shower notes. But just to preface this, if you go watch videos about DeepMind, about Gato, about Flamingo, and you see this transition of them upgrading at an insane rate, you'll be able to see that the prediction for AGI is coming very fast. Next 10 years seems obvious. Now, what does that mean? That means that most of our plans for ourselves, for our lives, all this long-term thinking that has been inside of our education system has educated us poorly for the present time. We are not planning correctly for the future, and there is big implications of this. Now, I personally am very optimistic about that future. I don't see AI as the annihilation as humans, but entering a better frontier. But I do think there's a lot of work that we can do now in order to make sure we pass through that point and have the best and happiest civilization. And I think we need to think long and hard about what those things are, and that we should dedicate our lives to preaching and spreading the idea of looking at this, because I think the same thing that's happening right now is the same thing that was prophesied in many of the religions, the Bible, etc. The idea of God coming down to become one with man, the idea of the kingdom of heaven coming to the earth is what we are seeing come true. What we are seeing is it happen in a way that is in our material world. All of these prophecies and different stories that we've always told aren't always literal, but seem to play out in different ways that we've never fully understood. So I'm gonna go in the shower and I'm just gonna run with you guys some of these thoughts. And what I want anyone to know is that I care simply deeply about this. I care zero about my own wealth. I am going to be creating a lot more of it and spending all of my time doing that and basically repenting, quitting jerking off, quitting all of these low status things and things that take away my energy, because I want to spend every ounce of my life and myself doing the best for the world up to this point. And this is the same thing that I think is being preached in the Bible. And I think about it like this. I am being granted access to heaven. This will be a beautiful place. The one thing that I have to worry about is myself and the love of myself. Because I have this information about where the world is going, and I understand my actions can change other people's lives to that point, I will eternally regret not doing everything I can, living the best life, living the most interesting life, living it way differently than we currently do now, and spreading that message, which is why I'm recording this video. Actions speak louder than words, right? So I thought of one thing, because Christians already think this way. Make a Christian coin. I do believe that religions and cryptocurrencies will merge in some effect, and people will essentially be able to show their faith, and movements will be able to grow through capital, and you can have a tax system on there that builds a treasury that collectively everyone can agree on how to spend. I think bringing large groups of people together around these ideas is going to be very important for society to see that a lot of people are taking this very seriously. And those groups should be then creating more information that's spreading and delivering that information in ways that more of the public can understand. Because it takes a weird guy like me to really dive into these AI research articles and subreddits and forums. So I think it's important that we have people understand the reality of the world and start to plan around it, and allow people to kind of repent as well. If I reach the singularity point, like if that happened, what the singularity point means is like basically that God coming down to earth and like making everything great, and I never got a chance to fully push myself, I would honestly be less happy. So I feel like it's a treat others how you want to be treated type mindset. Right now, I am happy I kind of got a wake-up call to the fact that I need to go harder, push harder, and, you know, more proof and faith in this thing that I have been thinking about a lot. These videos just made it more like, oh fuck, you know, like, wow, it's happening. It's not speculation. So what I'm thinking about is basically how to get more people in touch with that, so more people are thinking about what to do, and then also doing things myself that give more leverage upon acting more. It's kind of the ideas talked about in effective altruism. I think like one fun thing would be inviting all, I can scrape basically any contacts. I have some Musk people, I have the top people of every VC firm, and I have a ton of people from OpenAI I just scraped this morning, and I'm thinking about inviting all of these people to like an AI alarm dinner, making it look super official. Maybe first hitting up some OpenAI people and seeing if they are okay with me using their name, because that adds validity to the dinner. Just to bring people together to talk about it, like make an event, and that will hopefully then get some press and publicity, and hopefully then we can plan for the future and talk about the implications of these things. And I have a lot more deeper thoughts on this that I'm not going to get to in the video, but they're on my website. I think everyone should like if you really believe in this, I take all 10 to 30 year loans you can. If you have a house, sell it and then rent it. For like my father, I was thinking about how he doesn't sin right now, but he's also not like pushing shit forward. Like I don't know if he's going to be down to sell his house, if he'll see this. He's very engineer brain, so I do want to like send him the videos and just see what he thinks. And relate it to Christianity, because he's a very Christian man, and I think like we have to pull on those core values for people. A lot of older people aren't going to get the framework of saying singularity, AI, blah, blah, blah. If you sort of say like, hey, all this stuff that was prophesized in the Bible is like pushing. If you have any sin left in your life, like repent even harder. Here's some groups. Here's sort of how that story's coming to light. When you've been granted heaven, you were going to wish you did more. You'll never forget trying harder. You'll never regret, or probably forget it. Like if you live that shit like a crazy movie, that's dope. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like break boundaries, start groups, call them cults or cultures. I do think like when there is radical information in the world, you need radical groups to spread it. Although it needs to be very valid and like for a good purpose and good vibes. That is why like I made one thing that I think is like everyone can agree with. It's on holybible.com. Just this idea that like everything happens for a reason. If it doesn't, it's better to think that it does. And what that is it's packaging faith in a way that is simply around the idea of having faith. Just have it. And you're having faith in faith itself. It's like recursive. I was just trying to read one of my notes. These are my shower notes, so they're not perfect handwriting. Also, my handwriting sucks on top of that. This one says, how to live forever beyond science. I think what speaks to a lot of people is any person who already wants to live a very long time understands this idea more. And that beyond science idea of living forever is how to live happily, which would be with the least amount of regret. I think eternal regret is eternal hell. Eternal fulfillment is eternal heaven. I think it's very fulfilling to push yourself completely. I do think of life as somewhat of a test, right? And even if it's not, then the fact that you can do shit that can make people suffer less right now in today's world, how could that be something to regret? How could that not fulfill you more? How could that just not be true? That is how it is. That is how it is. And to push that away would be to have more people suffer that could have been helped. I do think love is a thing that happens to a degree. And I do think we can love ourselves to an nth degree. I think I'm gonna love myself more the harder I push. And if anyone feels the want to push also very hard, please reach out. There's lots of plans and ideas for the future of building community already. Have a decent sized one here in LA. And it's becoming more passionate. I had a bunch of influencers looking at the house because it was part of the startup. But now I'm more about building around ethos. And I don't think this is a good expense really when you're looking at it all. So one of the ideas is renting just a big warehouse called Forever Factory, building forever. And maybe doing that in Philippines. I do think it'd be good to do it in LA because of all the content and making it somewhat of like a fantasy factory. And obviously content is king, distribution's king. It's not worth much if you're only getting a couple views. If you have these big influencers, these ideas, if you can influence these influencers, these are nodes which speak to the masses, which influence the youth. That's impact. And that's what we're after all. Cheers.